Hello, this is batch 17. Our PBL presentation is on the topic weather prediction using machine learning. Our team comprises of Akansha Tanu, Khyati Gupta, Divyanshu Sachan, and Amandeep Singh. This project has been carried out under the guidance of Professor Mahalakshmi. And over to Akansha for the introduction.
Thank you, Amandeep. So, we all know weather is a condition of the atmosphere at a particular place over a short period of time. Weather forecasting approach ranges from small sky observation to very highly complex mathematical models. This project deals with predicting critical weather conditions to aware people about the upcoming weather and natural calamities, if any. Weather conditions depend on various parameters like temperature, pressure, humidity, precipitation, etc. Next, we all know that heavy rainfall can lead to numerous hazards like flood, landslides, danger of human life, loss of crops and domesticated animals, etc. In the recent case of Hyderabad floods, uh, it resulted in more than 83 people death and extreme damage of crops. Weather forecast system help predict the critical conditions of upcoming days so as to inform the rescue and relief team to be ready beforehand in order to escort stuck people to a safe location and making all the necessary arrangements of food supplies, packaged water, first aid kits, etc. The system can actually it cannot prevent the natural occurring, but most importantly it helps us to prepare for the consequences of after effects. Next slide. So now coming to applications of weather forecasting, it can help with severe weather alerts, as we all know, and it helps in determining air traffic to help pilots plan their flights accordingly. It helps in marine, agriculture in several ways. Next, uh, the advantages of weather forecasting are uh, it helps sailors to know what will be the weather like before they start sailing. Farmers need to know about the weather to plan when they will when will they water their crops so as to get a higher productivity. It helps tourists to know about the preferred weather conditions to plan their travel. Next, now coming to methodology, our methodology includes two types of dependencies. As weather conditions always have a slight variation due to change in its weather parameter, first dependency is difference between previous day's parameter and present day's parameter. And the second dependency is current week's weather with respect to previous years. So our aim is to utilize both dependencies to propose a mathematical model for weather prediction. Hence, we are checking a period of time to look for a previous conditions to match the current scenario and predict the weather accordingly. Next. Here, while we gather datasets for model, there are some sure parameters which we call as ordered information. These parameters are classified into four brief classes. Next, the first one is rain, tempest, and snow is categorized into precipitation. Next, the most part shady, foggy, and cloud is classified into exceptionally shady, and scattered mist and somewhat shady is categorized into modestly shady, and the clear sky is considered as clear. We aim at providing accurate result in order to provide correct prediction so as there will be no discrepancies. So from now on, Kathy will take over the part. So over to you, Kathy.
In this approach, the project is completed in four stages as shown in the figure: data collection, data pre-processing, data cleaning, data selection, and finally data transportation. Generally responsible parameters for the weather prediction are maximum temperature, minimum temperature, wind speed, and wind direction. These are collected from the weather station and then perform the decision tree algorithm on available data sets and predict the future weather data such as day-wise, month-wise, or year-wise. Next. The technology used by us is Python and Jupyter Notebook. Next. So we have used decision tree classifier, and decision tree classifier is simple and widely used classification technique. It applies a straightforward idea to solve the classification problem. Decision tree classifier poses a series of carefully crafted questions about the attributes of the test record. Each time it receives an answer, a follow-up question is asked until a conclusion about the class level of the record is reached. In other words, we can say that the purity of the node increases with respect to the target variable. Decision tree splits the node on the available variable and then selects the split with result in most homogeneous subnodes. Next. Uh, we have done our project through 5 stages. First is data collection. We have collected weather data from 1996 to 2017 for our model. The following procedure were adopted at this stage for research: data cleaning, data selection, data transformation, and data mining. Data cleaning. Data cleaning is the process of preparing data for analysis by removing or modifying data that is incomplete, duplicate, or improperly formatted. This data is usually not necessary or helpful when it comes to analyzing data because it may hinder the process or provide inaccurate results. There are several methods for cleaning data depending on how it is stored along the answers being sought. Data cleaning is not simply about erasing information to make space for new data, but rather finding a way to maximize the dataset accuracy without necessarily deleting information. Next, data selection. Data selection is defined as the process of determining the appropriate data type and source, as well as suitable instruments to collect data. Data selection precedes the actual practice of data selection collection. Data transformation. In data transformation, processed data are transformed from one format to another format that is more appropriate for data mining. We would be using comma separated value, that is CSV file format. Next, data mining. Data mining is the process of finding anomalies, patterns, and correlations within the large data sets to predict outcomes. The testing method adopted for this research was percentage split, that training on a percentage of data set, cross-validate on it, and test on the remaining percentage data set. Next, over to you, Amandeep.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. The dataset that we are using has the following characteristics. We use temperature, atmospheric pressure, humidity, fog, dew point as our main parameters. Data mining is nothing but an accumulation of utilized procedures that examine information from various points of view and speaks it into helpful data. The data that we use can be crunched down into the following 5 categories and characteristics, which is then fed into the machine or the notebook, which gives us the results. Now, moving on to the output, we have got the heat map of the output, which shows us the variations in the temperature as we move on. From more red means more heat, whereas more blue means lesser heat. So this heat map can be very useful for the overall temperature variation over a time period. We have plotted this between year and month, with year on the y-axis and month on the x-axis, and you can clearly see the temperature scale on the right hand side. And moving on to the result, the model achieved an accuracy of 78.53%, although in the near future we will try to get this accuracy up. And the conclusion, so the results show how these parameters have influenced the weather observed in these years over the study period. Given enough data, the observed trend over time could be studied and important deviations which show changes in climatic patterns could be identified. And moving on to the next, the references. as you can see for yourself. Um, Ending up with the presentation. Thank you very much.